No spin dry. All right. We're learning now a mimer about Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, in a way, it could possibly be one of the more, or the most interesting people in the history of Judaism. Just for an example, his grave is in the city of Meron, the northern city of Meron. And every year at the time of his passing, the day that he passed away, there is approximately 500,000 Jews that come from all over the world. Most of them are from Israel, from all over the world, to visit his grave and to be happy and to dance. And there's music and everybody. And I go up there every year. My son lives nearby.
You go on Lag BaOmer?
I go on Lag BaOmer. And everybody has a smile on their face. And there comes all sorts of Jews. Every possible type of Jew you can imagine is up there. Non-religious and Sephardic Jews and Ashkenazic Jews and Chassidic Jews and Litvischer Jews and all the different types of Sephardic Jews and ultra-Orthodox and Orthodox and unorthodox and everybody comes up to the Lag BaOmer on Meron. There would be actually a lot more people that would go up there if it was the roads were wider. It was better. There's always these tremendous traffic jams that they try to alleviate every year. They make new plans and ways, and it never really works if it would be. And one of the reasons why is because it's not really designed to be a tourist site. There's absolutely nothing there except for the grave of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. There's not like vendors there or amusement parks or interesting things for people to come and see. No, it's just simply a grave of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, and that's it. It happens to be that it's the second most visited tourist attraction in Israel. The site of Rabbi, it's in the city called Meron. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai passed away. Now, there's a lot of very holy Jews that have passed away since the history of Judaism started with Abraham almost 4,000 years ago. And we don't make such a big thing out of them. And we know when they passed away also. Abraham, Isaac, Yitzchak. It's true, we don't know where Moses' grave is. We have Rabbi Akiva. We have tremendous holy people. Rabbi Akiva was the teacher of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. They're the prophets, the various prophets, Yeshaya and Yechezkel, and tremendously holy people. There are a lot of them that we know where their graves are. Interesting thing, by the way, how do we know most of the graves of tzaddikim are? The Arizal was Rabbi Yitzchak Luria. He lived about 450 years ago. He lived in Israel, and he went around, and he had this amazing spirit of holiness, Ruach HaKodesh, and he could tell where people were buried. And there's a lot of people today that they won't go to any graves that were not affirmed by the Arizal. Arizal is Rabbi Yitzchak Luria. They won't go. Or, maybe they'll go, but they won't make anything like... The classic one, of course, is King David's grave, right? It's a big question if that's really where he's buried. Why is it a big question? Because the Arizal did not ascertain it. I don't think he said it's not where he's buried, but he just didn't ascertain these different places. Some people won't go to Shmuel HaNavi also. They say that the prophet Shmuel, Samuel. Whatever it is, that's a very parenthetical statement. What was so great about Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai? Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai lived about 1,800, 900 years ago, after the destruction of the temple. And he was the author of the Zohar, the book The Zohar. And even though there were other Jews and non-religious Jews that tried, the professors, until they tried to say that it wasn't him, it was somebody else, but it's not so. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, in fact, is the author of the Zohar. Everyone agrees. And the proof of the matter is that 500,000 people go up to his grave. I mean, 500,000 people could be duped into believing that. Not only that, most of them don't even know what the Zohar is. 99.9% of the people that go up there I don't know, 98% of the people that go up there, they've never really read the Zohar. They've got to go through the book of the Zohar. And if they do, it's very not so easy to understand the book of the Zohar, especially the Kabbalistic parts of it. The other parts are much easier to understand. It's basically a midrash, but the Kabbalistic parts are very hard to understand.
It's almost like a magnet.
It's a magnet, sure. It's a magnet, and it draws people, and they go up there, and there's absolutely really nothing to do, just to go up there and just to be happy. And it's only one day of the year, that one day of the year that he passes away, right? And they just go there for the spirit of the whole ambience of the place. It's just a place that's just very happy. And Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai said that the day that he passed away was a very happy day. Because even though, of course, it was a terrible thing, anytime any person dies, but the day that a big tzaddik, a holy Jew, passes away, is it becomes the sum total of his life is revealed. All of the godliness that he wanted revealed in the world is revealed on that day. So, Lag BaOmer. What type of a date is that? Lag, what does it mean? Lag BaOmer. So Lag is Lamed Gimel. That's the 33rd, 33. That's the 33rd day of doing this command, which is called counting the Omer. What is counting the Omer? First of all, the Omer was an offering of barley that was brought into the holy temple the day after Passover. Yimachrat Pesach, the day after Passover. And from that day, from the day after Passover until the holiday of Shavuot, the holiday of Shavuot was when the Torah was given. So from that day, there's 50 days, and the Jews count those days. They count the days, and they call it counting the Omer because it's counting from the day that this Omer means a bundle. This bundle of wheat of barley was offered in the Beit HaMikdash. It was a very, very intricate process also, how the Omer was offered. But that's not our point now. The point is that there was one mitzvah to offer up the Omer. We don't have that today because we don't have the Holy Temple, which we will have. The Mashiach will build the Holy Temple, and then all the Jews will be able to do this commandment and all the other commandments that depend on the temple, and that will draw all the Jews to Israel because all the Jews will want to do all the commandments. But we don't have that commandment today, unless the Mashiach already brought the temple down and we just don't know about it. It could be. I mean, I'm sure the news would try to hide it.
You mean it's not there?
Right? But we do have the commandment of counting the Omer. So we count every day from Passover to Shavuot. We count those days. We only count 49 of them. The last day, the 50th day is Shavuot. On the 33rd day of the Omer, some 1,900 years ago, I'm sorry, I didn't look up the exact date. Oh, I'm sorry. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai passed away. And on that day, he revealed also the greatest secrets that he had. He got all of his pupils together, and there was fire all around the house, and fire. And he gave over his deepest secrets to his pupils. And those secrets, a lot of those secrets are written in the Zohar. That's the book of the Zohar. And so what's this thing about the secrets? So the secrets of the Torah is like the soul of the Torah. Is the soul of the Torah. The main essence of the Torah are the commandments. The main essence of what the Torah is are the commandments, what we're supposed to do. Right? There's 613 commandments for the Jewish people, 7 commandments for the non-Jewish people. The main thing of the Torah is the commandments, but just doing the commandments dry, because that is our heritage, or it's the Jewish ritual, or this is the Jewish religion. Those are nice reasons, but it doesn't really last long. Not only that, one of the commandments in the Torah is you must love God. It's a commandment to love God. And it says you must love God with all of your heart and all of your soul and all of your might. What does that mean? But it's a commandment. And not only that, how do you even begin? How do you can love God? It's like telling somebody, love peanut butter. Love General Motors, cars.
That might
Sure, at least the peanut butter, you see it. You don't like it, you go to a psychiatrist. They'll train you, teach you what it is. So as a CBT or something to train you to love peanut butter, to associate peanut butter with money or something. The loving, General Motors. I don't like General Motors cars. I always wanted to buy a Mustang, right? I don't like that name, General Motors. Well, we can train you. We can figure out, what about God, liking God, right? You can give reasons why to like peanut butter and why to like, they do an experiment and they discover that peanut butter has vitamin P in it and it's got vitamin this and it makes you last longer and makes you look better. It makes your jokes funnier and you have more spring in your life, right? Okay, so why should I love God? Oh, God creates you. God, who says there is even such a thing as God? Who says there is such a thing, right? And what do you mean God creates me? How can it be that God creates me? Doesn't make any sense. Maybe you can say He created the world a long time ago because nobody's figured that out yet, right? How the world really got here. So say, okay, it's God. But God creates me right now? That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. And even if He does create me right now, so what? Why should I love Him? So Kabbalah comes and gives you the inside meaning of what's going on. It's like doing first aid, a person doing first aid and not knowing how the body works, not knowing that people have hearts, people have lungs, right? A person falls on the ground, you see him dead, push on his heart. Why? Just do it, right? Push on this area. Just do it. Why should I do it? I don't know. Just blow into his mouth. Why should I do it? Just do it.
Saw it on TV.
Right? I saw it on TV. Right? Somebody says, there's lungs in there. What? Just leave me alone. Right? If you want to really have proper Judaism, to have a heart in what's doing, and the whole thing doesn't become just like first aid, then you have to have a little bit of an idea of what's going on in the inside. What it means that God gave us the commandments. He's giving us the commandments. That God actually gets pleasure from our doing commandments. We had that in the Torah today. Reach nichoach. That we actually please God. How can we please God? If so, God maybe is not so great as we think. No, God is infinitely more great than we can possibly imagine. In fact, He's so great that His greatness is not limited to being infinite outside of the world. He cares about every detail. He creates all the angels and He creates all the upper worlds, but He still cares about each and every person, each and every, right, what a native in Africa and Aborigine in Australia and every single person in the world cares about, and every fly and every bug and every protozoa. God cares about each one, but especially human beings, especially the Jewish people. So how does this work out? So to explain these different levels of reality, that there's actually worlds that are, I want to say, dimensions of reality that are actually more real than ours. What does it mean more real? They realize more the Creator. They can feel the purpose of the Creator more. That's why the angels, it says, they're screaming and they're yelling. And the inside of the Torah, this explains this. This explains it, and explains it as its own terminology with the sfirot and etc. So, that is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai took all these the Kabbalistic ideas existed in the beginning of the world, of course, and they were given to Abraham. There's a book called Sefer Yetzirah, and it says that some say that it was the Adam, the leaf that he covered over with, was the secrets of Kabbalah. However, and there's also a lot of fakers in Kabbalah, also, like everything else. It's a Jewish thing. What do you want? So that the genuine Kabbalah comes from the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and goes through the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, and it came down through the Baal Shem Tov to the Chassidic masters, which they have their own sort of brand of making Kabbalah practical, and especially in Chabad. That was the idea of Chabad. Chachma Bina Das, to understand and to have the proper concept. That's Chachma, and the understanding Bina and Das, and to realize and to feel these ideas of Kabbalistic ideas. But it was all really begun in a big way by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, to the point where Elijah the prophet says in the book, the Zohar, he speaks to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and he says, with your book, the Jewish people will go out of exile in mercy. In other words, it won't be like at Mount Sinai when God revealed himself to the Jews and their souls jumped out of their bodies. The Jews will be able to take this revelation of the essence of their souls. They'll be able to take it. Jewish, which is called Jewish identity. So that's what Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai brought to us. Now we're going to understand Lahavin Inyan. Now we're going to understand the idea of Rashbi. We'll take a short break.